Hello, my friends. So glad you can make it. I don't know about you, but I'm getting that Kentucky Derby fever. It's a really exciting time of year. Pictured there is Super Saver, last year's Kentucky Derby champion. 8-1 is a really good price to get on a horse when you know he's going to win beforehand, which I did, and I'll show you how in just a second. I'm going to show you how to handicap using the tools that I use, so you don't have to go home empty-handed. Let's face it, if you are going to the Derby, if you're going to Louisville making that trip, you better win some money on that race to pay for the trip. I'll show you how to use the Kentucky Derby grid, which I've been using for years, available to the public for the first time ever this year. Let's get right into it. Highlighted here you see is Super Saver, Raise a Native sire line. It's won about 70% of the Kentucky Derbies the last couple decades. Calvin Burrell has won 75% of the last 4 Kentucky Derbies, as has the horse, I believe, with the early pace rating. But there's a couple things that this Derby champion has in common with the previous Derby champion, Mind That Bird, who went off at about 50-1. Raise a Native, Calvin Burrell, and the high early pace rating, which is my calculation. Okay, so if you see that again on this year's grid, automatic win bet. Next in the speed figure section, we have all kinds of speed figures from different sources. It's publicly free available for the Derby, these speed figures, but it's nice to look at, however many different speed figures, see how they measure up against each other. And then there are my speed calculations over here, which are really important. Note the composite speed figure, composite power figure, average speed, all number 1 for Super Saver. Now the composite late pace is always very important too when it comes to the Derby, and the composite stamina figure. They're kind of similar. Note that Looking at Lucky was number 1 in those categories, and I'm going to tell you why he didn't win in just a minute. Icebox was number 2 in those categories, and he did finish number 2. Down here you have the number 4 ranked horse in terms of late pace. Incidentally, he did finish 4th at odds at 30-1. There's always a long shot late runner sleeper that comes into the superfecta. Usually ruins it for a lot of people. It doesn't have to ruin it for you because you have this information for using the grid. Next bit of information I really like: Maternal Crop's average winning distance of 8 or higher. That's really good. That means he was bred for this type of distance, as can be corroborated by this dosage information, which factors into these criteria over here, which I'll explain in brief. I don't need to tell you what each one of them is. All I can tell you is that a Y is good. It contributes to a higher score, which is good. Notice Super Saver only has 1 N. That's also good. He had the highest, two out of these 3 critical scores, he had the highest score. So for that reason, and the other reasons already aforementioned, I wrote in number 1 for actual Derby finish before the Derby was actually run, because I knew Super Saver was going to win. More criteria over here. Strong previous Churchill Downs dirt race. That's always good criteria, good factor. And here's what doomed Looking at Lucky. Used Butte in his previous race. This is probably going to be a more critical factor in the future, as soon as I can confirm that no horse ever coming off Butte has run the Kentucky Derby. I believe it to be true from the evidence I've seen, but again, that needs to be, that's really not a good factor. They're not allowed to use Butte in Kentucky, and they come off Butte, they usually don't perform very well. Once again, Super Saver, one of the dual qualifiers, along with Make Music For Me. Way over here to the right, you have, in a nutshell, where they finished in their prep races. For example, you can tell by the maroon and the title here, Arkansas Derby, Super Saver finished second to Lina David in the Arkansas Derby. You can tell from my comments here, Burrell improving fast. 3 good factors to have if you're going to the Kentucky Derby. Now, you don't need to know what all these factors are. They're all labeled if you want to look up your favorite stat. But you don't need to know. All you need to know is their final scores and their speed calculations over there. Those are what give you the Derby champion. And let me tell you, this system is effective. I've been using it for over 10 years. Big Brown, Street Sense, Barbaro, Smarty Jones, Funny Side, Warrenman, Monarchos, Pegasus, Charismatic, Real Quiet. They all have one thing in common. Well, a couple things. They won the Kentucky Derby, and they were top contenders in this grid system. Okay? Wouldn't it be nice to win a $100,000 superfecta? That's what it paid last year. I was pretty close. I had the third and fourth place horses switched around. That's all right. I'll get it this year. But it's so much fun to go to the Kentucky Derby and take away more money than you came with, and win money for your friends and your family, and just have a good old time. So get the grid this time. Every Derby can give you a life-changing score. This is a get-rich-quick scheme, and it does work. It can work if you get the grid. Thanks for coming. I'll see you on the other side.